There are many words people use to describe Mark and Barbara Moore, but the word normal is not one of them. Growing up in Montrose, Colorado, Barbara Wilson excelled at just about everything she tried. Youth group leader at Montrose Christian Church, basketball and track athlete, National Honor Society, student body leader in high school her senior year. Barbara was 2 weeks from enrolling in a Kansas university as a speech pathology major when her brother said, "You should think about attending Ozark for a year. It's a good place to get used to college life." So she put her other plans on hold and headed to Joplin, Missouri, not the move of an ordinary, high-achieving 18-year-old. And no one has ever called Mark Moore normal. In high school in Sacramento, California, Mark performed in theatrical productions, served as youth group leader and as student body president in a school of 2,400 students. Once, when the school wouldn't let him use a classroom for a Bible study during lunch hour, he took the group of 40 students out on the lawn in front of God and everybody and had the study there. Mark has always been a rebel for God, which is why he gave up his plans to be a brain surgeon to follow God's call into ministry. He said, "I'd rather save souls than brains." The first time Mark saw Barbara on OCC's campus, they were freshmen at the beginning of the new school year. She was wearing a dress for a yearbook photo, and when Mark caught sight of her, he immediately said to the student next to him, "Who is that goddess?" The student replied, "That's my sister." Another word that's never been used of Mark is timid, and soon Mark and Barbara were dating. After their third year, they were married, and in Mark's fifth and senior year, Josh was born, shortly after Mark graduated as salutatorian, and they left for a ministry in San Antonio, Texas. It was there that daughter Megan joined the family. 4 years later, they answered the call to return to Ozark for Mark to teach. And over the next 22 years, Mark's accomplishments would be too many to narrate. Publishing 16 books, traveling to 25 different nations, speaking at more than 100 Christ in Youth conferences, leading tours in Israel, Egypt, Turkey, Greece, India, and Rome, discipling 50 young men in his home, most of whom are leading churches today. And though Mark took his ministry seriously, he never took himself seriously. He became known on campus for his humor as the resident faculty prankster, poking tiny pinholes in Jekina Stark's styrofoam cup of Diet Coke in faculty meeting so that it would quietly dribble a stream into her lap before she even noticed. When they announced one day in faculty meeting that Matt Proctor had been hired to teach at age 26, Mark leaned over to Jekina and whispered, "They can hire someone younger than me, but not someone more immature." In 2012, Mark and Barbara left Ozark to answer the call to Christ Church of the Valley in Phoenix, Arizona, a congregation running at the time over 17,000 in attendance. Today, Christ Church of the Valley runs over 28,000 through 8 different campuses, and while that's not normal, that's not a surprise. Mark has always gone above and beyond. As a student, Mark didn't just memorize 2 Timothy for class, he memorized it in Greek. As a preacher in San Antonio, he didn't just reach out to the Hispanic community, he learned Spanish. As a professor, he didn't just teach Life of Christ, he wrote the textbooks, and when he returned to located ministry, the congregation grew to be the largest Christian church in the country. In a letter of congratulations, former President Ken Idleman put it well, "Mark, you have drilled deeply, and the Lord has irrigated widely through your ministry." Former academic dean Mark Scott writes, "Mark, you are a consummate teacher. You set new standards in the study of Acts and hermeneutics and Life of Christ, and you have left a legacy of younger teachers at OCC who have your voice." Perhaps his son Josh's words are best. "Dad, you taught me John 3:30. He must increase, I must decrease." Short, sweet, to the point, and more than anything else, this verse become life mantra for you has stuck with me. At the end of the day, nothing matters more. Of course, no one in Mark's life has exemplified that servant spirit more than his wife Barbara. Daughter-in-law Sasha Moore writes, "Barbara, I'm sure everyone will make a big deal about Mark, but let's be honest, you probably deserve this award more. When I think of you, I think of that hilarious quote, 'Behind every great man is a woman rolling her eyes.'" Mark Scott writes, "Barbara, how did you put up with Mark all of these years? I wonder if he ever could have done what he has done without you having done what you have done. Thanks for raising 2 great kids while freeing Mark to make his contributions to the kingdom. Your synergy with Mark has made Jesus famous." Son Josh's words might be the best to close. "Mom, With an award like this, it would be easy for many people to see Dad and miss you. What a privilege to serve alongside such a successful leader, they might say, as if you were simply along for the ride. But I had a front row seat to your ministry, and because of Dad's travels, I spent more time with you. And while my educational self was shaped more by Dad, you more deeply impacted my personality and character. You were never along for the ride. You were in the driver's seat, literally. In the Subaru and the Nissan and the Toyota, driving me and Megan places. You took us to church, VBS, College Heights School, sports practices, tournaments, countless hours and miles, and it was from you that we learned quiet service. From you we learned gentleness and grace, patience and hard work, selflessness and love. It was because you stepped out of so many spotlights, the rest of us were able to step in. So thanks for not being along for the ride. Thanks for driving me to be a better man. Mark and Barbara, thank you for leaving normal in the dust. Thank you for serving widely and deeply so that Jesus might increase. Well done, good and faithful servants.